Do you know how number 2 is Lost in New York?
That's crazy.
Number 1 is Lost in My Own House. It's a huge house.
Jesus. Hey Coogs, my name is CJ Moore.
And I'm Brittany Lau.
And today, unfortunately, is going to be our last Coog Cinema Reviews episode for Christmas.
So sad.
Very sad. But you know what? I think we're going to have a good topic for you guys today.
I think so.
So, do you have it? Oh. Now keep that thing on me. What we got today?
Why did you have that there?
Don't worry about it.
I'm
asking
worried
questions?
about the smell.
Stop that. You know what? I can do this review by myself if you're cool with that.
Let's see what kid we have today. Dear Santa, my name is Sam, and for Christmas, I want everyone around me to go away.
Relatable.
I don't care where my family goes. I just want to be left alone. I'm a big kid, and I don't need a babysitter. Please make this come true. Love, Sam. Sam, it sounds like you have some social issues going on.
I don't know how to respond to that. Sam, if you need to talk to anybody, stop it. Get some help. We're here for you.
I'm not here for you, but you can talk to somebody.
I'm not either, but like, you know, in sentiment. But all things considered, I think Sam just wants to be left home alone.
Which is the movie that we're going to be talking about today.
Da. So, Home Alone, if you haven't already seen it, which I don't know how big the rock you live under is about this kid named Clary, Kendrick, Christina,
Kevin!
Whose family is going away for Christmas break. Unfortunately, because they forgot to set their alarm on time the night before, right before their plane was about to leave, they left and took everything except for Kendrick. Because he was left home alone, it was up to him to figure out how to survive while his family was away. And some different things come up and some problems ensue. That's up to you to find out.
Before we continue any further, I would just like to put out a disclaimer. We are only going to be discussing Home Alone 1 and 2.
Because that's the only set we claim.
Yeah. I had no idea that Home Alone 5 was even a thing until like 2 days ago.
Did you say Home Alone 5?
5. But it's not called Home Alone 5.
There's a 3 and a 4?
Yeah.
Ew.
Home Alone 1 through 3 are all released within the 90s. And then number 4 was released like early 2000s.
Gross, okay.
And then 5, I think 5 was released 2013. So it's pretty old by now, but It's not called Home Alone 5. It's like Home Alone Holiday Heist or something with heist in it.
Are all the adults in it idiots? Because I don't remember. I think like I probably saw 3 and 4, but maybe my brain kind of erased that to like save my poor psyche. Because I think it's a trend in Home Alone movies where the adults are like just completely off their rockers.
I think that all of the adults are negligent, rude, not supposed to be parents because they do not treat Kevin well. There's like extreme favoritism in this movie. Like
Butch.
And also
What's his name, Butch?
Butch? First of all, too many damn kids live in one house. I understand, the house is huge.
Yes.
But why do so many kids live in it?
And why of all the kids did poor Casey have to live with the one who peed to bed? Come on, man. If you pee to bed at the age of 6, get diapers. It's not embarrassing.
He's 6?
He's something.
I always wondered why that kid was just casually talking about how he wets the bed and he's just like drinking his little Diet Coke. Chugging them. He's just chugging away those Diet Cokes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, with me.
I have not drank a Diet Coke since that day because I was afraid that I'd be the kid who peed to bed. And the thing is, I was an only child. Just imagine being afraid to sleep with yourself. That sounded weird, but to sleep with yourself because you were afraid to pee to bed.
I would never sleep.
I was traumatized as a child. But you know something else that I really want to point out though about that movie? Homeboy's brother. Why was it so acceptable for him to just casually bully his younger brother? Like, is that what we doing in America nowadays?
He was ruthless.
He was. He had a tarantula too. Don't forget about the tarantula.
Yep.
That'll become instrumental later, but no spoilers. Spoiler alert.
Oh, this is like almost 30 years spoiler alert. Like, come on.
The casual bullying was something that I definitely did not like as a child because I didn't have a bully and I was jealous. But with that being said, it was something that I feel like kind of developed Kevin's character a little bit more. Because now you have a reason for him to be this like genius in a way, because he knows how to get back at his older brother who is a bully, which is why he can basically bully the people who try to break into his house when he could have just called the police and it would have been over with 20 minutes. You know what? Speaking of serial killers, actually there is this theory that Kevin McCallister is the guy from Saw. Jigsaw?
I've heard this theory, actually.
Yes. I've watched multiple essays about this, so that's very interesting. And I was wondering, why in the world, an 8-year-old, I think he was 8, right?
I don't know. They never say
what's up with the ages?
Ma'am, I'm 8 years old.
Either way, a young Caucasian male has the aptitude for engineering in a house that he didn't help build, first and foremost, with a whole bunch of tools and a whole bunch of things that like we just never saw the source. Paint cans in a house that was fully furnished and completely refurbished.
Was it the first one that he had that like huge dumbbell looking thing or bar?
That was the second one because it was an abandoned warehouse thing.
That, right.
Spoilers, sorry.
Right. And how does he have the strength to move all of these heavy things? I'm just saying, as a kid, 1, I was not nearly as smart enough.
There we go.
2, how strong do you have to be to move all of these heavy things? Like these cans of paint, these weights. It was like that toolbox thing that was just like
oh my
jumping
goodness.
down the stairs. Like when I was 8, I was barely learning how to heat up like Campbell's soup. So rewatching this movie as an adult, this movie is really brutal. Have you seen like all of the booby traps that he sets?
Honestly.
Like at what point should these guys have actually died?
The beginning.
Like I feel like this whole movie is just one big episode of 1,000 Ways to Die. There's so many instances where Marv and Harry get burned, get stabbed, get concussions.
Ooh, and electrocuted.
And electrocuted.
Kinky.
Like, they should not be alive towards the end of the movie. They ziplined off of the roof of his house. Like, what is going on? And they don't look athletic. So
they're not athletic
how are they
at
pulling
all.
these stunts off?
They're not. And on top of that, I remember in the second movie actually, they were climbing down a rope actually from like the 4th, 5th floor, something like that. And homeboy Casey, he lit the rope on fire. So they tumbled like multiple stories.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they didn't do that in gym class. So they don't look like they have any athletic ability, and yet they're climbing ropes and they're zip lining. They're doing handstands into toilets to get fires off of their heads.
I forgot about that.
What is going on in this movie?
Speaking of which, how did he know that the robber was gonna do a handstand into the toilet, therefore he would fill the toilet with a chemical that was very flammable, which would destroy, you know what?
Like I don't know how this kid works. This is too strategic. It's like when he set up that elaborate house party in number 1, how did he know at what point that the robbers were gonna come and just see the party going on? Like he would have been there for hours. They could have come like at 4 in the afternoon.
That house is not empty.
9 at night, 3 a.m., 6 a.m., who knows? But yet he would have just been there with his little string person, just
for
like
hours.
Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Maybe even days. Like we never know. Like it actually did not give us like a definite time period in the movie. So maybe he was actually doing it for days and he just got lucky.
By luck.
Maybe. The same way homeboy has the videos, the VCRs, that like he stops and he plays to make people think that his parents are there with the pizza guy.
Yeah, there were no timestamps in the
None
90s.
whatsoever. So he's just like, hey, get off my property or I'm gonna shoot. And Pizza Man's like, cheapskate. And then he starts shooting in a movie. Like, it's a VCR. Like, there are no CDs where you can just say like 30 seconds earlier. Like,
maybe they were anticipating the future. This was YouTube's journey from the 90s.
What's up with the conspiracies in this movie? It's like an episode of The Simpsons, my God.
So I want to ask, which do you prefer, number 1 or number 2?
2 hands down.
2, okay, why?
Why you ask me that question? Because obviously,
Because this is a
they were in the
review.
Trump Tower and Daddy Trump was in it. Why would I not like it? I feel like with most series movies, there comes this genesis where you have to venture away from home territory. Like Leprechaun, they went from Leprechaun to Leprechaun in the Hood, and I respect that.
I don't think that's a plausible comparison, but
One was good and one was not. What I'm trying to say is
that's pretty obvious.
Eventually, each series has to go into a different direction, and I feel like the first one, while it was great, I liked it when they actually ventured away from home territory and they got to New York. And
so he's like really lost.
with his dad's credit card, which has no limit apparently, just saying. And he has to thrive on his own, spending $962 on room service, finding a weird lady who has a fetish for pigeons.
Wait, how do you remember that exact number? I feel like you've studied this movie a little too many times.
That's my favorite one.
I'm judging. I feel like the first one is always like a staple, it's a classic, and it's fun. It's a fun adventure movie, but I think I kind of have to agree. I think number 2 is a little bit better just because like it's a lot more sightseeing. You get to see him out of his element and just what.
Keep going, keep going. I'm not trying to interrupt you, I apologize.
You kind of have to see him like what he's gonna do in survival mode because he doesn't have his parents, he doesn't talk to anybody. You have this pigeon lady freaking him out. Now all of a sudden Harry and Marv are back, which how do they end up in New York from Chicago? So
plot devices.
Oh, the wet bandits.
Dun, dun, dun. Actually, they weren't the wet bandits. They were the sticky bandits, which sounds even worse. Like, bruh.
Yeah.
Another awkward topic I would like to talk about was, what's his name? Marley Blossom, AKA Shovel Man, and Pigeon Lady, which is her actual name in the movie, because, you know, why not? Why are these characters, like, here? Let's be honest now. Kevin was kicking booty the entire movie, like, for literally the entire time. And then he gets to the robbers, he fights them all, he's running for his life, and oh no, convenient patch of ice. I slipped. I'm still a helpless child, even though I could have killed these people multiple times already. Like,
He's 8.
He's small.
He still needs help. He's a kid.
But you just booby-trapped a mansion.
I mean, yes.
As an 8-year-old. What you need with a dude with a shovel? What's he gonna do?
That does
hit the robber in the head?
Yeah, that did throw me off as a kid. I was like, he did everything up to this point, and all of a sudden he's captured.
That's like Superman, right? Needing Batman.
Yes.
He doesn't.
But he does. Why do you think they have the Justice League?
So Pigeon Lady and Marley did not need to be in there. I feel like they could have made it where Kevin actually succeeded in stopping the robbers completely without the help of an adult, because the point of this movie is him being bad all by himself. So why exactly would they just throw that in there as if they were the saviors the entire movie?
I disagree with that. I think that they needed to be there as what they call the foil. Well, they weren't really like the foil the entire time of the movie, but I think that they were a character to add like guidance to Kevin and just kind of help him. Because, I mean, yes, he's like a super genius, and yes, he's fighting off these robbers by himself, but he can't do it the entire time. You know, kids get tired, and kids aren't entirely that smart. So for those moms that like, oh, my kid is so smart, he's only like 49 months, like, it's not a thing. So yeah, I think that it's fine that they were in there. I enjoyed them. They just guided him the whole movie, so.
Well, I'm not trying to say that like they didn't play a part. It's just, I'm saying as like the definitive defeating of the villains, that was what they were for. If you remember, Shovel Man, he hit the robbers in the head with a shovel, and that was the end for them in that movie. That was the first movie. In the second movie, Pigeon Lady threw a bunch of seeds on the robbers, and that's almost stopped them. So why were they the ones who took down these big bad villains?
I get what you're saying.
That's where I was trying to go with that. But I do love those two characters, because Shovel Man and Pigeon Lady had some great like history, and then like the chemistry for characters, I feel
Wait, history together?
No. Well,
Like,
hey, actually, you never know. That's another theory.
Do they have a past?
They might. I mean, think about it. Pigeon Lady had a whole bunch of pictures in her attic. One of them might be a booty pic from Shuffle Man.
Okay, no. I think it's safe to say that these characters just had significant roles in this movie, and whether we agreed with their role in the movie as far as the conclusion, I think that they still are great characters to enjoy.
I can get behind that. Last point before we close out on this. Why exactly do you think that this movie was a classic? Like,
I don't know. It's like, it's the movie I'm most excited to see when Christmas time comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the concept is fairly simple, but it's still like really fun. Maybe for me, Macaulay Culkin just sells it because he's a great actor. And even as a kid, he's got a lot of spunk. He's very talented. He's very witty. So
Definitely.
I think for me, that's why I really enjoyed this movie, and I always I can watch it so many times and I don't get tired of it. I don't know, yeah, I think I just really enjoy the acting and the crazy antics that just go on in this movie.
Right. I feel like Macaulay is kind of the franchise. The first thing I think of when I think of Home Alone 2 is Macaulay straight up going, my parents are in Florida.
I'm in New York.
Like that right there was the movie. That right there got me. And I think that is just his personality as a character. And I think that the movies themselves are Macaulay's movies. And I think they're a classic because all things considered, most Christmas movies have some sort of Santa figure and a lot of this giving spirit. And Home Alone was something kind of different for the times. It was a family, albeit dysfunctional, but the whole movie was about doing for yourself and giving your own meaning to Christmas. Macaulay spent it with some people who he originally thought were kind of terrifying, who actually turned out to be very, very kind people. And I think that the whole message behind these movies is your Christmas. Make it how you want to. And that is why it's a classic, to me.
I think to add on that, it's just the story behind it kind of gets you to cherish those around you, and you might fight with your family every now and then, and maybe they're not the greatest people at the time, but they're the only family you got. Try to make the most of it and spend the holidays with the people you love most. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the finale of our Christmas edition of Coog Cinema Reviews.
And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to Coog TV.
And happy holidays,
you filthy animals.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.